Jimmy, what did you think of that keynote session?
The keynote this morning was amazing. I had the opportunity of actually meeting Ali at the backstage and also meeting Marco Dreesen at the backstage as well. The energy here is just absolutely amazing.
It is.
You are visitors and watchers at home. It's so amazing to be able to spend a lot of time with you today. And we're looking at doing a lot more with our speakers today. With that being said, Holly, are you willing to introduce our amazing guest for today?
So I'm so proud we have a real great speaker here today to talk to us, and that is Ben Lorica. Ben, hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This is one of my favorite events.
Oh, thank you so much. So a bit about Ben for people at home who maybe don't know Ben. So Ben is a very multi-talented man. So not only being an advisor to so many companies here in the Valley, of course, Databricks being one of them, you also host and run a podcast as well, don't you?
Yes, yeah. That's more like a hobby.
Okay.
So it's just an excuse to talk to friends and people I want to get to know.
Yes.
Man after our own hearts, yes.
Yes, yeah. But it basically is around three topics: data, machine learning, and AI, which happen to be the topics of this conference.
Nice.
Well, in that case, should we get just stuck into it then in terms of...
Let's just do it. But I have a question for Ben, though, because you've been doing this for a long time. So when you look at the energy from last year, you come in here, you see all these amazing people, the energy here is wild. What do you think when you look at last year and this year?
Well, I think there's a lot more excitement, right?
Yes.
I mean, just generally around this new generation of AI technologies.
Yes.
And obviously, Databricks is front and center of a lot of these things.
Yeah.
But just generally, I think the community around some of these core technologies like the Lakehouse, MLflow, Spark, and now the LLMs.
Yes.
I think just the momentum keeps building around this conference.
Yes.
Yeah, so LLMs, it's like hit so quickly. Like I remember when it first came out, and everyone was there. Like, I think for most people, it was when they could actually use ChatGPT themselves, and suddenly it clicked. Like we'd had it for a while, but I think for a lot of people, they finally saw, where the benefit came from. I mean, how you've seen a lot of trends come and go.
Yeah.
How would you characterize kind of LLMs, generative AI, compared to previous trends?
So I think what sets this apart is, as you point out, people have had hands-on experience.
Yes.
Not just the developers, but even lay users.
Yes.
So I think it's just clear the utility is high.
Yeah.
So now it's all about details and execution.
Yeah.
But this is a piece of technology where the use cases are just falling off trees, right? So this is not the blockchain. Sorry.
No.
I'm shocked you would say that.
Still coming back to that, though, the concern I have, especially when I see a lot of customers very excited about generative AI, LLM, is, how do we make sure these things are responsible and secure? Because you can mistakenly train a data that is biased. How do we make sure that some of these data points are not biased, right, in the industry?
It's funny you point that out because I happen to advise the first law firm that focuses on, on AI.
No way.
It's because of some technical quirk is based in where you are, in D.C.
Yes.
D.C. is the only place where a law firm can be founded by lawyers and not lawyers together, right?
Yes.
So this is a firm founded by lawyers and data scientists.
No way.
So I've had regular conversations with them over the years, but even more accelerated with the rise of LLMs. And I can tell you, the excitement of technologists and CXOs around LLMs is accompanied by panic and fear among chief legal officers. Right? And that's precisely because of what you said, right?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of details that still need to be worked out, right? So, I mean, so not only do we have the existing privacy laws, we have new AI regulations, but we also have a new piece of technology where a lot of the details have yet to be worked out, right? So
I agree.
And there might be a lot of reworking of existing pieces of the stack, right?
So are you worried about this technology as we start to get into the next, frontier of, technology and just what are you seeing out there in terms of concerns? Because some people think that AI is going to take over their jobs, and I'm saying to them, people who use AI are going to be the one who are successful. If you don't use this technology, you'll be left behind. So why don't you jump on the bandwagon and be more effective with the technology instead of being against it? So what are some of the thoughts you're seeing, in the industry in terms of people leveraging AI for their daily productivity, activities?
So I think we have to step back because there's a lot of hype around what the technology can do and the limitations of the technology. And I think the more people actually use it for their day-to-day work, so for example, data scientists or copywriters. So they understand that this will make me more productive. It will allow me to take on more projects. But it's clearly not something I can just let go and
completely outsource,
do its own thing, right?
And
so and I think the more people actually interact with the technology, the more they appreciate it. Is my feeling. But there's a lot of details that need to be worked out. I mean, so these technologies are new. And most of the existing infrastructure we have was not really intended for models of this size. Right?
I totally agree.
So there's going to be some reworking in terms of technologies, and so I'm confident this conference will be relevant for many years.
It will be relevant for many years, and we have the platform and the baseline to be able to do it. Cloud wasn't there 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Now with cloud, now with scalability, now with extensibility, is given the platform for AI to be able to exist really well. But Holly, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well in terms of, what you're seeing and, just aligning with Ben and his vision, right?
Yeah, so I think about maybe like the hype cycle. We're used to seeing these charts from Gartner where you've got the hype cycle and then we've got the trough of disillusionment. And I feel like not only is this sprung upon us really quickly, but I feel like this hype is going to perpetuate for a long time. I mean, I think because there are so many use cases, it is quite easy to see, I can see how this really will make a difference compared to some other technologies that shall not be named, where, people were scrambling around and really trying to, have a square peg in a round hole, and it didn't quite work. But I feel like for this, it's got a lot of mileage to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you look at a recent survey from Stack Overflow, for example, right? So I think they found that already 70% of developers, coders, and data scientists are already using some sort of coding assistant, right? And just to the extent that technologies are early adopters, right? So this is a harbinger of things to come. But the thing about this technology is its usefulness is so clear to a lot of people
I totally
who are
agree.
not necessarily technical. And to the extent that we're mostly talking about language models, which are basically text in, text out, we're really still scratching the surface because moving forward, we're talking about multimodal models, right? So where you have many different modalities of input and output. Right? So,
I mean, for me, what I truly like about, obviously, the advent of ChatGPT, obviously I'm not as technical as my beautiful Holly sitting next to me here, but I can actually get it to generate like a regression model and write an ML flow code for me that I can deploy into Databricks. And I'm not a coder. And it explains each of those line items like, okay, this is how you do pricing, this is how you do regression analysis, and so on. And you can see the advantage of what that's going to do with co-piloting and how that's going to make someone like me effective, not better than Holly, obviously, but these are some of the things that we're seeing. But I'll pass it on to you, Holly. I think as we start to look at how we're going in this community, AI is going to drive the next frontier.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to say we are out of time, unfortunately. Ben, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for being here. If people want to be able to find you, where should they go?
Oh, I guess just my newsletter, gradientflow.substack.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I look forward to connecting with you.
All right. Thank you so much. Wasn't that a fantastic guest?
Awesome. That was awesome.
Oh, okay. My heart rate is going to start going down soon. What a fantastic guest.
What an amazing guest. But right now we have an amazing time with Conor He doesn't know that I'm starstruck having him sit next to me, but I am, which is why I'm taking this initial conversation, with Conor. Conor, it's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm so excited.
I love your look. I love your energy. I love your passion.
Thank you.
So we have Conor
here. As long
here.
as there's not too much glare.
No,
right?
not too much glare. From Dataiku, like I said, I follow him. He doesn't know that I'm starstruck, but we'd love to hear more about you.
Sure.
You're here with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I lead the Field CDO team here at Dataiku. Been here for
sorry,
almost
for those
5
that
years.
we've got a lot of people at home who might not know what a CDO is.
So I'm a
Field
Chief Data Officer. So I work with our customers sort of as an executive advisor.
Yes.
I've spent most of my career in analytics, either using them, building them, all of that, military, retail, insurance, now over in tech. And so I sort of try to help customers make new mistakes instead of the same mistakes I've made over the years. So that's usually the goal.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome. So obviously we just finished talking to Ben, who's a great person. But from you, as you start to look at data, I love what you're doing around data because you're making data science easy, if I can use that word.
Absolutely,
right?
that's the goal.
You're making data science easy, so someone like me who's not a techie geeky, I can drag and drop, put in all this stuff, and run it. Tell me a little bit about how this is going to change the world with LLM.
So, Dataiku, our philosophy has always been everyday AI.
Yeah.
Everybody should be able to access all of your data and use whatever analytics technique is appropriate without the barrier to entry of I have to learn to code or I have to learn all these things. So you know the data, you know the problems that you're trying to solve. And I even come from, so I'm sort of a mathematician by background. And I've coded on and off for most of my career, and I'm not a good coder. And let's be, most data scientists aren't, right? They like to pretend that they are, but I'm not an engineer. And so I like to spend
ML
my time.
engineers have a job,
I'm a biochemist, by the way, right?
So there we go, right? So making it easy for people to access the data and access the tools is where we're always there. But bringing it and where they can do it then with the people who are the engineers, who are the data scientists and can code, when you can help them all work in one place, you can collaborate and move so much faster that people are able to really solve the business problems and the challenges in just whole new ways. It's so exciting. And LLMs are just like the next step for that for us, right? It's just a new tool. We're adding those capabilities in, making it so that, again, you don't have to be an ML engineer to understand how to use an LLM via plugins and no-code applications.
Yeah. So tell me then, so you mentioned about customers not making the same mistakes again. They're making new mistakes, which I really like, and I'm definitely going to steal in future, so thank you.
Happy to give it to you, for sure.
But what are the, if you think about the customers that you see that are the most successful with their big AI projects, what is it that they have in common? Like, is there a particular winning formula for people to really kind of, progress and do a good job with this?
So, to me, I think it really comes down to everybody has a different starting point, so it's hard to just be totally formulaic about it, right? But the things that I think are really big drivers of success is having a business-driven problem-solving process, right?
Yes.
What problems are, and being very systematic, having a good way of identifying the right use cases to work on, and then being able to say, this was not working, drop it, move to the next one, or this is great, continue. But focus on problems that are business problems, not science projects. And that means bringing the business people into the tent to decide what you're going to work on. That one is huge and can never be underestimated. The second one is building that culture of really having everybody, and that's why I like Dataiku. I was a customer, it's how I sort of came to know the tool. But because you can bring people sort of into that same tent to do the working, right? So when a business person can, instead of doing it in Excel or sending a request off for like a query that takes 4 months for some
the Brazen ticket,
right? Give them access to the data themselves. Have that data sitting in Delta Lake, and Delta Lake is amazing from a technology and an underpinning perspective. And as long as you can code, then it's amazing. For the other 99% of the people at your company who don't know SQL and don't know how to use Spark, give them access to that data as well. They can pull that data out. They can solve, or they can get as far as they can. And then when they hit that, okay, now I know who my most valuable customers are, or whatever, I know the problems. Now I can go to a data scientist and say, how do we predict this? How do we know who to reach out to? How do we know where we should focus? But now you, as a data scientist, somebody already did like half of the data prep work for you. Now, obviously, we need to go do our feature engineering and all the smart things we do from a data science perspective. But when that business person started the process for you and then can see what you're doing and iterate it on you, bringing people to work together, it's intangible. It's hard to say what's the ROI of collaboration, but we all know what the failure points are.
It's the culture, right?
This is true. And are there particular things that you've seen work well to bring the business in? I've seen quite a few instances where the business is like, I have a problem, you're smart, you go fix it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and we talk about culture like it's, I don't know, it's just something, day one, fix the culture. Day two, do the data.
Simple. Fix the culture. Done.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, is it bringing people to events like this, or is it, how do you get kind of business people
Honestly, it's
on board?
even doing events like this at home. To have the data science team or the digital team or whoever sort of host those events. Give people T-shirts. People love T-shirts.
They do.
Take a T-shirt, stick your logo on it, stick a Databricks logo on it, and hand them out.
Do you want to know a secret? Jimmy just picked up this T-shirt today. He saw them outside. It was like, I do want this.
That's what I like to see.
Everyone loves a free T-shirt.
Everyone loves a free T-shirt.
Everyone loves a free T-shirt.
But make it exciting to be part of it, right?
Yes.
So the people who come in, make it that when people are asking for access to LLMs and things like that, be like, oh, you're part of our insider group.
You're part of our...
Everybody's getting, everybody in the insiders group that's helping us is getting access to our LLM beta that we're building for the company or whatever that is. But make it exciting, because a lot of times people view it as a chore. Yeah. Oh, now I'm being asked to be the data steward.
No.
Right? Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
But then when you're like, hey, you're helping us get better data, which is making your job easier, and now we're going to reward you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a much different situation.
So when you look at some of the things that are happening, right now around the world with generative AI, right? How are you going to make that really democratized and easy to use, right? Obviously, with Databricks, we have the data, as you mentioned earlier on, Delta Lake. Your data is there, and you bring your model to the data, on Databricks, right? Which is awesome, right? But at the same time, you need to worry about some of these users. How good are they in taking advantage of Delta Lake?
It's a couple ideas for me. One is, how do you make it so that people have access to the starting points very quickly and easily? So we're building no-code pieces that will do the embeddings for you. No-code pieces that will be able to do the chunking and the context setting, so that you can say, here's my folder of data, and now I've got a handful of no-code recipes that I can apply to that to make that data better for the LLM. But especially on the other side, also then, here's the out-of-the-box security checking. Here's the out-of-the-box query optimization, pieces like that. So now you can give it to more people and know that they're not going to go do dumb things. You track prompts all in one place, right? So we have a prompt studio that allows you to select any LLM that you have available to apply it to any data set. So you can track different ones, you can see which ones are better, which ones are worse. But now I can go back and I can say, hey, Johnny over here had some great results using these prompts. Let's create a template from that and give it to the other teams. So now that Susan can go and use what somebody else has already done really smartly.
Honestly, one of my favorite topics, just talking to anyone that you bump into is, what are you using ChatGPT for? The amount of people that I use it for meal plans, it planned my holiday, plans
I use it for my meetings. I use it to do a mock interview with chief data officers. I use it.
I love it.
To do mock interviews with CTOs, so I know, what it is. I actually use it to summarize PDF files as well. So there is a lot of things that you can actually do.
It can make you faster and more effective.
Absolutely.
Right? But so now how do you because some people are better at using it than others. Take what they're doing and give it to everybody else.
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to do to make it, we're also applying it to the data prep itself, to the recipe, so that you can actually do prompt-based engineering within Dataiku as well. So we're making it so that it's not just how to use an LLM, but the LLMs work automatically within the tool.
Conor, thank you so much for joining us today. I've learned a lot. I've had a really wonderful time talking with you as well.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure. I look forward to the next time. Thank you so much.
And if people want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
So the easiest way to find me would be, of course, through LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, Conor Jensen, I'm there. But Dataiku.com is the best place to see it. And you can go to dataiku.com/generative-AI to see all of our latest work that we're doing in the LLM space specifically.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, up next, we have an absolutely fantastic, very talented man who works at Databricks. I honestly don't know how to introduce
my friend,
him.
by the way.
He's also everybody's friend.
Everybody's friend.
And I have no idea how to introduce him because he does absolutely everything. But can we please?
He's absolutely amazing. We were at club together. We were walking the halls down yesterday. He was telling me all the amazing things that he's doing. And I cannot wait to hear more about that. This is Franco Patano. And if we can ring a bell, right? He's such an amazing guy. Telling us a lot of things yesterday about communities, about, Lighthouse Speed Project and so on. I would love to hear more about all the cool things that you are doing. Just
all of them.
All of them.
No, pick one. Pick one or two.
We talked about serverless. We talked about, tell me, I want to hear it.
So I think if I had to pick one.
Okay.
The most exciting thing that we're showing off, I think, at this conference is at a talk I'm doing later today with my colleagues Kyle Hale and Roberto Salcido. And essentially, we're showing the world how you can build a more modern data stack on Lakehouse, and how you can essentially take any of the modern Lakehouse, modern data stack tools, but we're going to show you with Fivetran, DBT, and Tableau how you can get so much more for less on the Lakehouse with the modern data stack. And so we actually have benchmarks to prove that ETL and query serving on our serverless SQL warehouse is bar none the most price performant out of all the options. So I think for me personally, this is the thing that I have been preparing for this summit for years, actually.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So
I think also something that's really nice about kind of the modern approach that you're using with serverless is it's really easy.
Yes.
Like even if you take into account, like how much the VMs cost and all these other things and price performance, like this doesn't include people costs, does it? No. In terms of, moving something to a modern data stack. I guess in the olden days, you'd have to do these massive migrations and move loads of data around.
All the infrastructure as a service. It's a whole lot more out there. But when you look at serverless, what do you think some of our customers need to do to get past the hump of concerns? How do we get them to start using it immediately? Because it seems like an amazing component of Databricks.
Yeah. So what I try to advise our field teams and customers of really the same things over and over again. The first thing you need to do, if serverless seems provocative and attractive to you, is get your security and compliance teams to meet with our folks and to review serverless architecture.
Yes, okay.
Very first thing. Don't try it, don't look at it, don't turn it on. Actually, very first thing is get your security and compliance teams on the line and let's review our architecture.
Okay.
Because they're going to want to confirm that their data is going to be secure. It's in an isolated execution environment. And we've got all the docs and the decks to explain it to them and to prove it. So I think the first thing you need to do is get over security and compliance because we've reviewed it with some of our highest profile clients in the world. And it passes security architecture.
Nice.
You might have some advanced security requirements that we're working on, but we need to figure out what you need, like what are your requirements, and that's like the first step.
Yes.
After that, serverless, like you all said, it manages itself. It's pretty smart now.
Yes.
So smart.
And
not pretty smart,
driven, right?
So smart. It really is,
Well, I'm looking at your T-shirt right now, and it says Delta Pipeline.
Yeah.
So when you look at serverless, Delta Pipeline, and some of this cool stuff, how can you marry them all together?
So the one thing that I came to Summit for that I was super excited about, besides like our talk, was I got asked to do the demo for Michael's breakout for Delta Live Tables because one of the things he was announcing was streaming tables and materialized views are now coming to Databricks SQL.
Yes.
And they asked me.
Oh, no, I definitely did not miss that. This is not news to me. I read all the material. Sorry.
But it's
Tell me
awesome,
more about
right?
it. It is. That's amazing.
Awesome.
I'm
We
so
can hear
glad
more
we're talking
about it.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, right?
Yeah,
It is.
absolutely.
It is.
I could wax for another hour long about all
and
the
we're
things
spending the whole evening together anyway.
Yeah. So I'll tell you all about all the awesome things. But for you all out there, basically, SQL warehouses don't have the capability to do native streaming inside of them. most of these warehouse companies have done some really strange and weird things to enable streaming.
Yes.
Most people call them advanced micro-batching.
Okay.
But now, with this capability, real streaming semantics exactly once, and full scale, fully managed, coming to the SQL warehouse is amazing. Not only that, but we have incrementally processed materialized views.
Yes.
That means that you're going to have super efficient, price-performant materialized views.
Awesome.
And now, one of the main things about Delta Live tables, we used to call it Delta Pipelines. It's an old shirt.
But I do like it now.
It's a very nice shirt. That's why I wear it.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems was that you have to express your DAG at once.
Yes.
And so a data engineer normally does that. But a data warehousing person does it step by step.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to create my streaming table first.
Yes.
I need to look at my data.
Yes.
And then I need to do my aggregate. Then I need to create a materialized view. And it's step by step. Now, with streaming tables and materialized views in Databricks SQL, you get the step-by-step ability to do that.
Nice.
The trick, most people don't know yet, is after you're done step-by-stepping your process in Databricks SQL, there's going to be a command coming that upgrades that whole thing to a Delta Live Tables pipeline.
No way. I'm
That is
really excited
fantastic.
about that.
You know what?
It's awesome.
So when I joined many, many moons ago, actually no, we joined at the same time. We went
were
to
in the same class.
We were in the same class. And I remember how hard I remember how hard it used to be to do streaming. Like streaming used to be so tricky to do. I remember going to so many training courses, like trying to understand how streaming works. I feel like we've just made it so much easier for people. Like even if you don't have something that is on all the time, you still benefit from that incremental processing, because otherwise you're just spending money reprocessing the same data. And when we look at like our customers who have the biggest amounts of data, how they've been successful with it, it's all incremental processing. And that's the way that you want to be able to design these pipelines to, you know, to get the best price performance of your data. You know, hit your SLAs, have something that's reliable, have something that's, you know, cost efficient. And now we're being able to do this for like in a data warehousing as well. So this is amazing.
I think the most amazing part of it is like when I show people how to do it. And I was like, just give it the directory of where your files are, or give it the event hub, and just say select star from read files. And they're like, well, don't I need to tell it what file type it is? Don't I need to give it the schema? Don't I need to tell it what watermark? Don't I need to tell it how long the stream latency is? Well, what are all my configurations?
I know. So I did some teaching Monday, Tuesday, and we go over things like autoloader, which is not quite as simple as that. But honestly, I feel a bit of a fraud, because it's like 3 lines of code and I'm like, look, it does a lot of really hard things. And if you're not used to like ingesting data like this, you're like, well, why is this so amazing? And it's like, there's so much that it's doing for you that you don't have to think about now. So yeah, it's great that we are making this kind of simpler for everyone. Again, all the hard stuff, I mean, I guess, all of these things, I guess we make them because we see every single customer having to go through the same pain points over and over again. It's like, can we not just do this better and at scale and make it easier for everyone?
Absolutely.
I think what I also, you know, want the audience to know is, as everybody's starting to talk about generative AI, LLMs, all those cool things that are happening, how do you see some of the key things that you're working on around serverless, around Project Lightspeed and pipelines and so on, really marries into creating the right platform for some of these initiatives?
One of the most provocative things that I think that the platform gives you today with streaming LLMs and ML and BI capabilities is now the ability for your business to react to change.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Instantaneous.
That is an amazing point to end on. Franco, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for telling us the updates for projects, which I definitely had paid attention to. Franco, thank you so much.
It's been amazing. Cannot wait to have you again. Have a wonderful afternoon. And with that being said, you know, we are wrapping up with my friend, you know, Franco, and this is the end of the first segment. It's been amazing just spending the morning with you, Holly. How would you like to wrap us, you know, up today? This is
well, you know what? I'm just going to say we're not going to wrap up, because we will see you in about 90 minutes. I think there's a Unity catalog deep dive.
Oh, that is awesome.
Which we're going to have now, and we'll see you later in the day. Goodbye.
See you later in the day. Have a good one. Thank you.